Alright guys, welcome back to another video. I ran my 16 mile yesterday, but today we're going to head over to the track and we're going to be getting in another Maffetone test. I haven't done one of these in about 6 or 7 months. I've been training so much has happened since then. I'm going to check back in, see where I'm at with that. We'll talk about where I've stuck to the Maffetone system and where I've strayed a little bit from the course. But first, let's run that intro, then we'll check in on how I did last time, and then I'll bring you back when I get to the track. See you in a second. Get that focus. All right, so I'm here at the track. I'm gonna do about a half-mile warm-up, and then I'm gonna get into a 5-mile MAF test. Each mile, I'm gonna be sticking at my aerobic threshold of 155. Maybe go a couple over, a little bit under. The whole goal of this, if you don't know, is basically to see how your aerobic system has progressed as your training goes. Your times should slowly go down as you run at the same heart rate. So I'm gonna get going, get my warm up in, make sure I'm all set and ready to go, and we'll see how this goes, round 2. All right, let's see. Alright, so I just finished up the 5-miler, did another half-mile as a cool down, bunch of stretching. Let's head back to the porch. We will reflect, go over things, and compare how much I improved, which was a lot. See you on the porch. Alright, so we are back in the apartment and I am ready to go over my Maffetone test number 2. The numbers are awesome, and there's a couple factors that I will talk about once we go over my most recent numbers, my past numbers. We're gonna compare them, and then we'll talk about my reflections on how everything's going. August 13th, 2018, Maffetone test number 2. My first mile was an 8:23 with an average heart rate of 152. This is after doing a half-mile warm-up at about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. If it was cooler, I totally would probably do a mile to a mile and a half, but at 90 degrees, that's about 32 degrees Celsius for those of you outside the States. It's really freaking warm, and once you kind of get 5-6 minutes in of jogging, you're getting ready. I always feel ready. I really don't think you need to do too much more than that. So after doing about a half-mile warm-up, got my heart rate up. I did start my first mile at 150, as my aerobic threshold is 155 according to the Maffetone system. So starting that run at 150, I felt like I was pretty warmed up, ready to go. Mile number 2, 9:11 at 154 BPM. Getting that heart rate up, we're really close to that 155, that's awesome. Still breaching on that low 9-minute mile. I'm doing still amazing compared to last time. Mile number 3, we have 9:34 at 158 BPM. So I've breached that 155. You're never gonna sit right on it unless you're very, very good at this. I'll take that with a grain of salt. If I go 3, 4, even up to 160, I'm not gonna be heartbroken about it because I'm still getting more and more aware of running at a certain heart rate. Moving on from there, mile number 4, 10:06 at 159. So we've breached into the 10-minute mile. You know, as it goes on, your miles are gonna get longer. I mean, it's supposed to, because you're working at the same heart rate, but getting more tired. That's kind of the whole point of the Maffetone test. So it's, you know, it's seeing how fit you are at your aerobic threshold and how fit your aerobic system is functioning, but it's also showing you how you progress over time. That's how your run's gonna go. And then finally, my 5th mile was a 10:07 at 159 BPM. You know, I'm pretty happy with those numbers. I sat at that low 10-minute mile mark. It's a huge improvement compared to last time. I'll quickly go over my run from December 8th, 2017, 7 months prior. So my first mile then, a 9:55 at 156, 10:05 at 156. So in my second mile, I'm already hitting what I was hitting in my 5th mile just last week. My third mile, a 10:06 at 160 BPM. So I was letting my heart rate go a little bit more then,
Mile 4, 10:27 at 1:58, slowing down, but again, this was 6-7 months ago. Mile 5, 10:23 at 1:59. Okay, so you can generally see that I'm about 45 seconds to a minute faster at the same aerobic threshold as I was 7 months ago. Ding dong, that's pretty cool. So I am not someone who has stuck to the Maffetone test incredibly well. I have taken a lot of lessons. I did the food Maffetone test to see if I was carb intolerant. You know, I kind of removed a lot of refined carbs from my diet. I try to only eat whole grain and whole wheat now. I have tried to remove sugar as much as I can, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm still a sucker for like desserts. I love ice cream, you know, I love Italian ices. I still have a sweet tooth basically. And I'm not gonna ever probably get rid of that completely. So yeah, that's my grain of salt. I'm not a 100% Maffetone System person. I think there's amazing aspects to it. I love that it's all about building your aerobic system and living a long running lifestyle, not just about getting fit as quick as possible. That being said, one other thing I would like to add into this is that I ran this test at about 90 degrees Fahrenheit, about 32 Celsius. And when I did this prior, I was in New York in December, it was probably about 40 degrees. So I think that's gonna also have kind of an impact. I'm running at a much higher temperature, incredibly higher humidity, but at the same time, I'm still improving. My numbers are incredibly better, even with that temperature gauge difference. So, in reflection, I'm super stoked. I hope this helped with anyone out there. If you're doubting kind of the Maffetone system, I think it's pretty proven that, well, in general, if you run and if you track your running, it's going to improve. I just think it's really important to also incorporate little things. You might not want to switch your entire diet, you know, to a certain lifestyle. That's totally fine. I think I'm a good example of someone who has taken aspects. I feel healthier, I'm running a lot more. I recently posted a video about hitting 40-mile weeks and I started at 10-mile weeks. I mean, that's a huge improvement for me. I'll go ahead and throw the link right up here, a couple keys to how I got to that 40-mile week. But yeah, in reflection, Maffetone test number 2, pretty convinced that it's a working system. I like that it's a way that I can evaluate where I'm at, where my aerobic system's at, where my body is, and possibly learning how to burn fat over carbs and sugars, basically. So yeah, I like to think that my body's getting prepared for all kinds of things. But I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. That was a pretty lengthy kind of recap of a quick workout. I hope you all got a little bit of something from this. If you're into the kind of thing, maybe go ahead, like, comment, or subscribe. Throw it down there. If you're a believer in the Maffetone system, throw it down there as well. I am not a 100% believer, but I do believe that it has a lot of beneficial aspects to it. So that is my 2 cents. Ciao for now. Peace, people.